Hi and welcome back to Garden Ninja. Have you got apple trees that are on a bit of a wonk or low hanging branches that are scraping the ground? Well, if so, then this guide's for you. I'm going to be showing you today how you can rectify leaning fruit trees in the autumn to make sure that they're super healthy, ready for loads of fruit next year. So come on, let's get cracking. If you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit the red button to subscribe today. Also click the bell for notifications. We'll have access to hundreds of garden design hints, tips and hacks from me, the Garden Ninja. And best of all, it's free. So down here, we've got a bit of an apple SOS. This fruit tree is overladen with fruit. And because of that, it started to pull the tree. I didn't anticipate how much fruit we were going to get this year. So if you've got a fruit tree like this, I'm going to show you now how you can take a little bit of remedial action to stop that lean and protect it next year. But you're going to need a sharp saw and some secateurs. Now the first thing I'm going to do is remove the lowest branch. The reason for that is it's too low to the ground, can't get a mower under it, and when it's laden with fruit it leans and then drags along the grass, making the fruit rotten and the tree unbalanced. So I'm going to be using this, which is a pruning saw, Japanese pruning saw, a really good bit of kit, relatively inexpensive. But for work like this, that is too thick for secateurs, this is a much easier tool to use than a handsaw. You can use a handsaw, but often they're really big and wobbly, they get in the way, you damage the tree by slipping and making marks, but this is the perfect tool. So I'm going to show you up close now, that first branch, and then I'm going to stake the tree and realign it so that hopefully next year it's more balanced. And when it comes to pruning off branches, you always want to make your cuts underneath first, rather than going straight from the top, because that will stop it from splitting and ripping. If you don't do that and you cut from the top, the weight of this branch will pull it and snag it, ripping off a big part of the tree and damaging it. So I always go from underneath first and I cut through about halfway. So using this saw, I'm pulling up gently, gently. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing this in summer and not in winter like most fruit tree pruning? With fruit tree pruning, if you prune in the summer, it keeps the shape for next year. It doesn't send out too much new growth. When you prune in the winter, you're always pruning for new growth. So by doing this here in summer, it means that it will prevent this branch from going back. If I did it in the winter, it will send out all sorts of side shoots just because of the time of year. So I'm going to take the strain now and feel it going. Really there. And there we go. Oh, that's a beautiful cut if I say so myself. So look at that cut. Super smooth, no jagged edges, close enough to the tree not to impact the main trunk, but not leaving too much residual wood that might become infected. So that's super clean. So this branch is out the way, thank you very much, but this one here is trailing on the floor. Although it's full of fruit, I can still harvest that, but I need to cut it off now before they get damaged. And again, sharp pair of secateurs back to this main branch here. And I'm probably going to take that one off as well, because that's only going to basically repeat the same mistake. So I'll get really close. There we go, that one's off. So I'm going to do the same here. That one's off, and this one's pointing in the wrong direction. So I'm going to take that one back to there as well. There we go. And I might as well nip that off too. As you can see now, we've got a little, ooh, I'm going to take that one off as well, because that's not going to do any favours. And there we go. See, there's loads of space underneath. I can get the mower neatly under, nothing's going to drag. And because I've made these cuts in summer, like I said before, it fixes them in a point in time. So this now becomes the branch for next year. You'll get further growth off here, but it's not going to try and shoot off like it would do if we pruned it in the winter. So summer pruning for maintenance and form, winter pruning for growth and energy. The best way to correct this is by using a stake. driving it in away from the bend. So I'm going to drive this in down here and then just pull the tree up slightly. You don't want to try and fully correct it in one swoop. You're going to damage the roots, you put the tree under stress. You may even end up lifting the roots and creating voids with the dry outs. So I'm probably not going to be able to fully correct this just because of the exposure, the wind blows this way, but I can help just give it a little lift, which is what I'm going to do now. So I've got a wooden stake here that I've made from an old post, always recycling. And then using this post driver here, that's in solid. And I'm going to take my tree tie. If you've watched me planting trees before, you'll know that I always use these rubber tree ties that you can then expand during the years and move and change. You don't want to use things like twine or string. It will cut into the bark and cause problems. But the tree tie is on, it's a case of feeding that through and then pulling the tree up ever so slightly. If you need Herculean effort, then you're doing too much. So I think one more and we'll be there. When you let go, it will lean back slightly, but that's fine. We're getting there, slowly and steady. We've got all this space now. Job's a good one. We're just making micro adjustments here to help correct the lean of the tree. We may never get it perfectly upright, but we can prevent it from leaning further and making sure that it's in a really stable position. Have you got gardening questions that you need answers for? Well, why not head over to the Garden Ninja forum on my blog, where you can ask me anything about gardens, plants and garden design. There's a whole army of other garden ninjas there that can help provide answers to your questions. It's a really great way to meet the other ninjas, so head over there now. So there we go, my super easy way to keeping your fruit trees in tip-top condition if they're on a bit of a wonk or those branches are starting to touch the ground. If you've liked this video, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button and the bell below for notifications. Make sure you check out the rest of my channel where there are hundreds of garden design, hints, tips and hacks to help you make your gardens awesome. I've been Lee Burkhill, the Garden Ninja. Happy gardening.